Two and one. Hey, welcome to another episode of the Capital Gains Tax Solutions podcast, where we believe most high net worth individuals and those who help them, they struggle with clarifying their capital gains tax deferral options. Not having a clear plan is the enemy, and using a proven tax deferral strategy such as the Deferred Sales Trust is an amazing way for you to exit highly appreciated real estate, business, cryptocurrency, so you can defer tax, you can grow your wealth, help yourself and your friends and your clients do the same. Hey, we're also streaming on expert CRE secrets out there. For those of you who don't know who I am, my name is Brett Swarts, and I'm the founder of Capital Gains Tax Solutions. I'm also a multifamily broker. I'm also a multifamily investor, and I just love helping people create and preserve more wealth. Even better than that, bringing on people on the show who like to do the same. In fact, I'm excited about our next guest. He is founder of Flipping America, and he talks about helping you to build real estate, value-add real estate, and all kinds of other things. We're talking about real estate investing for everybody. He's out of the great state of Georgia. He's a motivational speaker. He's a business coach. He's a best-selling author. Please welcome to the show with me, Roger Blankenship. Roger, how you doing?
Great, man. How are you?
I'm doing great. And for our listeners getting to know you for the first time, would you give them a little bit more about your story and your current focus?
Sure. Well, people ask me how I got started in real estate investing, and I tell them sheer desperation and a lack of communicable job skills. I spent 20 years in the ministry, actually. And during that time, I had a great time, but I unfortunately lost my marriage and needed to turn to a different career. And so your options are limited when your basic skills are, playing the piano and parsing Greek verbs. So I didn't really want to be a school bus driver. I did have a degree in education. I could have been a school teacher, but I'd done that and didn't want to do it again. So real estate became the thing. And I'm the kind of guy that whenever I find something to do, I put my whole heart and effort into it. And it just sort of took off from there. First it was, 15 houses a year, and then it was 100 houses a year. And I think in 2022, we are going to do just about 1,400 houses bought and sold.
That is amazing, Roger. And by the way, if you want to learn more about all this, you can go to flippingamerica.net, flippingamerica.net, like flipping a house, like flipping a coin, flippingamerica.net. Excellent, Roger. So before we go there, I believe we've all been given certain gifts in this life, and these gifts have been given us to be a blessing, helping to others. Some people call them strengths, some people call them superpowers. So I'm curious, what is your one strength or superpower you believe you were given, and how does that help how you help and bless people today?
That's a good question. And I suppose you kind of caught me off guard there, but if you talk to the people around me, one of my strengths is coming up with a new idea. There's something new just about every day. Most of them we don't ever do anything about. But, I think part of the maturation process is learning how to filter all the ideas. But yeah, that's probably my superpower.
That is amazing. Yeah, I think it's a great superpower, right? The visionary, coming up with a new idea, creative ideas. That's a great superpower. So that being said, let's dive right into the show, which is real estate investing for everyone. So what is the number one secret, Roger, to investing into real estate and making it for everybody?
Well, I get a lot of people that come to us who are broke and their credit is bad and they want to get rich in real estate. You get that, Brett? People come to you like that? Maybe they don't come to you like that.
So we're dealing with tax, and we kind of just set our minimums. So we can't help everybody. But
you have a different avatar.
Yeah, a little bit different avatar. But hey, I was broke at one point, and I was starting in real estate. And so, no, I get it, man. I've been there.
Yeah. So, and it's a different track. We have another track really that's designed for people that have money and want to invest either in an active way, and they learn from us how to do it, or in a passive way, and they put their money with us on one of our projects. But sometimes the first thing we have to do is just help people take a look at what got them where they are. Why are you broke and why is your credit bad? Let's address that. And because it doesn't really make any sense for you to make a lot of money if you don't change the habits that put you where you are. And then we can take it from there. So really, I think maybe some of this is a carryover from the ministry. We just work with people where they are. When you come to us, like if you do a strategy call with us, we're going to ask you what's at your disposal. What do you have? How's your credit? Do you have some cash? If you don't have any of those things, all right, what can we do? And we'll just work with you where you are to help you take whatever the next step is. And I think that is true of me and all my coaches, that as long as you're putting in the effort and taking the steps that we lay out in front of you, we're going to keep walking with you.
I love that. I love that approach. I love that you're helping the little guy, the little gal, the front person who's even a big gal, big girl, who's just, struggling financially and looking and have some desire, have some hunger to grow their wealth with real estate and the educational aspect of it. And then I like the holistic approach, which is let's actually start at ABC, right? I remember my wife and I first got married, we had to still start at ABC, even though I had studied real estate, had a business degree, grew up in real estate. We still had to do the Dave Ramsey, like just get down to budget, paying off debt, living below our means. And we had to grind through a couple of years of, let's say, getting in shape, right? Just on the foundational level. So these aren't steps that you can just skip, Roger, right? I mean, you need to go through those steps to get to the point where you can build that strong foundation. So talk about the importance of those steps. And after that first step that you've gone through, that middle one, what's the next step to building the wealth?
Well, then you've got to increase your knowledge. You've got to learn something about it. And this is where a lot of people actually fall out. Not everyone learns the same way. I do have that degree in education, and I realize that's true. So in our program, I have people that I work very closely with who just hated school, but they do well with hands-on stuff. And so we give them hands-on ways of learning. And really in this game, you're going to learn most of what you learn by actually trying to do a deal. If you go through a course, and I've got plenty of online courses, but if you go through that course, you're not going to remember that much of it until you get out there and get in the middle of your first deal. And then you have a need for that knowledge. And hopefully you will remember where you heard it. But that's why it's important to not just have that knowledge. We also provide a coach to walk alongside of you. And if you really want it, a mentor to sort of provide guidance for, the strategic effort of your entire life.
It's so simple, yet I think sometimes we make it more complex, or we think we can watch the YouTube video or even just the online course, right? Or just read the book, or just listen to the podcast, or just listen to the person on stage talking about all of the amazingness they've done. And even they're trying to coach you, right? But it's not until you come alongside of somebody and have a guide and actually have somebody going through the process with you. I can't, my wife just recently, she's been athletic her whole life, played, soccer and volleyball growing up, but she had never hired a coach, and she wanted to go a fitness coach. And so she did, she hired that fitness coach, but I can't imagine her sitting there and the person just teaching online without actually like going out and working out and doing the thing. Right. So why not the same thing with real estate and building wealth? Let's get involved. So walk us through, what does that look like for your coaches to come alongside somebody during a live deal?
Well, it's property visits, it's weekly calls, it's check in with text messages. Like when we get off of this, I've got a client that I've got a call. He's run into a problem with permitting, and I've had the same problems with permitting, and we've already had one conversation about it. And sometimes it's just somebody to give you a little kick in the seat of the pants, to remind you that this is up to you. And probably one of the hardest things for people to accept is when we make our plans, we have the plan to go from here to here, and it's a straight line in our plan. But what we don't plan for are the dips in the road and the bumps and the sometimes the off course track that are the result of life circumstances, and sometimes even our own bad decisions. And how to recover from those things is almost as important as learning the content in the first place. So that's where a coach comes in, because I've made every mistake in the book. I've done a lot of things I've been taken advantage of, because I tend to be a little too trusting. I've been used and abused, and I've made some mistakes based on overconfidence and arrogance. I've done everything wrong that you can do. And so now I can see that happening, not just in our students and clients, but even in the coaches. And it's all, we're here to help each other. And, they help me. And a big part of what we are wouldn't be there without all of them. And I think that after the content, the next thing is the coach mentor we've talked about. And the next thing after that is the community. So really, if anybody's listening to this and you want to get started in this, you've got to find those things. You've got to find someone that you know and like and trust, and get information from them. And then if possible, get involved in their circle, in their community, with their people, and just do life and real estate together.
Absolutely love it. We're talking with Roger Blankenship out of Atlanta, Georgia, flippingamerica.net. It's flippingamerica.net. Best-selling author, real estate coach. But as you can see, he has a heart for helping you, the listener, or you or the friend who wants to get into real estate, who wants to grow their wealth with real estate, and is looking for a community and looking for expertise, someone to help you take that next step in building your wealth. That's flippingamerica.net. So Roger, let's shift a little bit. Go ahead.
Let me just throw in there. We have a national RIA, and it's called the Flipping America RIA. And as of today, we are now 41 chapters across the country with over 18,000 members. And every one of those groups that actually meets in real time, some of them have never met in person because we started during 2020. But our watchword, our phrase, our networking phrase that we teach everyone to ask in every meeting is, how can I help you grow your business? That's how we start every meeting. How can I help you grow your business? Because I believe, so therefore I'm kind of pushing this belief out to all of our people, that if I help enough people grow their business, it'll come back to me some way or another, maybe not directly, but it'll come back to me. And boy, has it.
Love it. How can I help people grow your business, which is sort of what you do for anyone who want to take your real estate coaching, how to help you grow your investments, your wealth, whatever the next step is for wherever you're at. How do I help? And that's the beauty, using the gifts, using the vision that you've had, and then obviously delegating out and getting amazing coaches. Wow, that's amazing how fast you guys have grown with all of that. I want to shift a little bit into capital gains tax, right? Get a little more advanced here for some of our listeners. It starts talking about, like, sometimes it can be frustrating, Roger, with the 1031 exchanges. It can be frustrating with, high appreciation of assets. So I'm curious, Roger, what's been your biggest frustration as it pertains to maybe capital gains tax deferral options and or the 1031 exchange?
Well, most of what I do, Brett, is short-term ownership. So I don't get to take advantage of capital gains. And I watched my dad and helped my dad go through 1031 exchanges. And I saw the end result of that is, once you're in it, never get out. So that's my simplistic conclusion. Bigger brain like yours got all this figured out. But on my investing activity, mostly it's short-term ownership, and then we're out of the property. So it's ordinary income to me.
Yep. No, I hear you. And by the way, in case you're wondering, you're in a situation where you have $1 million net proceeds, $1 million gain in a short period of time, which is classified as less than 1 year. That's considered short-term capital gains tax, or really it's ordinary income tax, versus long-term treatment, which is a year or more of holding. 1031 exchange only qualifies for long-term, whereas the Deferred Sales Trust, which is amazing, it goes for short-term or long-term. Okay. Also works for businesses, crypto. Now it needs to be big enough. Primary homes, of course, commercial real estate needs to be big enough. $1 million gain, $1 million net proceed. But if you're having that challenge, you can go to capitalgainstaxsolutions.com to learn more about how to defer capital gains tax or ordinary income tax on short-term holds. That being said,
what's that website?
Yeah. Oh, capitalgainstaxsolutions.com. Capital Gains.
Oh, that's your website. Yeah. Capital Gains Tax Solutions.
That wasn't a commercial for someone else. That is for what we do here at Capital Gains Tax Solutions. Thank you, Roger, for throwing that out.
Yeah, I didn't know that you could do that on because I may need to talk to you about that.
Happy to talk to you. Yeah.
My own CPA told me it doesn't matter if I've held the house a year. If my intent when I bought it was to flip it, it's still ordinary income.
Yeah, it could be the dealer status, right? And we have a way around that. But we just found that it needs to be big enough. So some of the flips, if the gains are too small, if you're doing so many of them, so a per transaction basis. So we can do it. Like, we just did a $29 million deal in Texas. He actually tied it up for 24 and sold it really quickly for 29. Right. And then, so that was obviously short term, but he was able to put that difference into the DST. So,
okay. Okay.
Yeah. Stuff to think about, right?
You and I need to have a conversation about this next week.
Sounds good. All right. That being said, let's see. You're coming out with a new book, Roger. I mean, or it's in the works, right?
It's out. No, it's out. Oh well, we're working on our next book already. Yeah.
But let's talk about the one we'll talk about that one in a little while. But let's talk about the one that's out right now, Roger. What's going on? The best-selling author. Talk about it.
I wrote a book called Flipping Houses in 10 Days, and the title's a little tongue-in-cheek. You're not going to flip a house in 10 days most of the time, but it's 10 relatively short and eminently readable chapters. And so you can take 10 days of your life and learn how to flip a house by reading one chapter a day.
Simple. I love it. Okay. So
it's fun. Going. It's funny. Yeah. It's got some formulas and stuff in there, but there's some funny stories in it. And the saga of two of my flips that went a little sideways right from the very beginning. And I tell those stories, and it's an easy read.
And it's a real estate investing for everyone, right? It's 10 days, 10 chapters, 10, and
if you ever thought you wanted to flip a house, then you need to read this book. And we put it out there October the 4th, and 4 days later, my publisher wrote me back and said it just went #1 internationally.
That's incredible, Roger. And was that your first book, or how many books have you done?
Well, I've done some little ebooks before. I've got a life planner system on Amazon. Doesn't really sell very well. And I've done some little books on real estate, but this time I hired a marketing company to help push it out there, because I know it's a good book, and I didn't want it to miss its chance to get in front of as many people as possible. And it's been very interesting.
I love it. That's phenomenal. I love the success. And then, so what about the next book? What's the next plan, Roger?
All right. Well, you remember what I told you a little while ago about ideas? So after the success of this book, I was just thinking about it one day, and I realized that flipping houses is one of several dozen ways that you can make money in real estate. And in fact, one of the earliest shows we did, I think it was like show number 108, we documented 86 different career paths you can take in real estate or real estate investing. And I decided, wouldn't it be great to help people? Flipping houses isn't for everyone, but there are other things that might be for someone else, and other things and different things that you can do. So many different things. One of the big things, for example, is short-term rentals. Well, that's not for me, because that's a hospitality play, and there's a lot of detailed management and cleaning. Nah, not for me. So, and some people will say the same thing about flipping houses, but some people are doing great in short-term rentals. So I thought, why not a book that features a bunch of different people and the way they have built their careers and their own wealth in real estate? And so the name of the book is the working title is Roads to Real Estate Riches. And I'm bringing in, 25 or 30 of my friends, people that I like and trust and believe in, and inviting them to tell their story and a little bit about their strategy. And you are one of them, my man.
Thank you so much. It's actually really an honor, and I can't wait to be part of the book. In fact, I'm about 70% of the way done. I know our deadline's coming up here in about a week.
Oh, well, I got to tell you, man, we pushed the deadline. Everybody's running into holiday stuff. So don't worry, just relax.
Well, thank you. But I'm still going to keep it. I'm going to keep it. I'm going to send it to you the first draft, right? So I'm committed to doing that. So it's off of my brain, right? Because then everything else kind of piles up. But yeah, that's amazing. I love that. Road to Real Estate Riches. And I love that, again, it fits with your vision. Yeah, roads, plural, right? Roads, right? Yeah, roads to real estate riches. It's also a part of your vision and what you're doing with flippingamerica.com, which is real estate investing for everyone, right? And figuring out that, just because maybe your gift is not hospitality, or maybe your gift is not construction and development, and seeing that vision there, like, that's okay. Like, do the other thing, right? Do the other thing. Maybe your deal is bringing capital together. Maybe it's lending on real estate. Maybe it's structuring the legal part of real estate. Maybe it's brokering the deals. Maybe it's maybe it's deferring the capital gains tax on real estate. Like, there's different ways to serve and make a living and help people and grow wealth and have a great time doing it. Absolutely love it, Roger. That being said, are you ready for the lightning round?
Yeah, I guess. I don't know what it is, but let's go.
Ready as you're ever going to be. Knowing what you know now, Roger, if you could go back to your 25-year-old self, what's the one golden nugget you'd make sure to tell yourself to do?
Live below my means and save money every paycheck.
Excellent. Question number 2. What's the number one book you've recommended or gifted the most in the past year?
In the past year, Traction, Getting a Grip on Your Business by Gino Wickman.
Excellent. Question number 3. What are you most curious about right now?
What am I most curious? Interesting thing. I have just gotten a hold of a new guy on YouTube, and the channel is called Geographics. And he has a series of videos on our solar system and discoveries in space. I've always been fascinated by space. If I could have done anything else, if I could handle the math, I would have been an astronomer or a physicist. And I found out in my 3rd semester of calculus, I can't really handle the math.
Hey, know your strengths, right? Know your strengths. Yeah. So
my mama said I needed a job where I'm talking, because that seems to be what I'm best at.
Hey, I think it's working out with your bestseller and your podcast and everything you're doing with the future of 2023. By the way, what is that one thing in your business that if you could overcome, or, the next big step that would catapult you in 2023? What's that one kind of big, hairy, audacious, like, challenge that if you got a hold of that thing, man, you would just catapult your business?
Well, I know what it is. I'm a little reluctant to put it out there, but we are actually going to sell a piece of Flipping America brand in early 2023. We're already talking to a couple of suitors, but it's going to bring in a significant inflow of capital. We've demonstrated the ability to, make money bootstrapping it. And we're bringing in an investor to take the next level. And really my aim is to make Flipping America a household term. Everybody will have heard of it.
Very amazing. Thank you. See, you never know what you're going to get out of those answers. And obviously we should talk, because if you're selling your business for any amount of money, then you might have capital gains tax. And guess what? Not only can you defer that tax, but you can roll it back into NewCo. You can roll it back into more real estate. You can roll it back into new businesses. Like, how cool is that, right? DeferredSalesTrust.com, Deferred Sales Trust about that. That's capitalgainstaxsolution.com. Okay,
I
cool.
don't think that money will be coming to me. I think that money will be plowed into the business, but.
Well, that's the cool thing. It can still be plowed into the business. That's the point. So, like, most people don't realize that it doesn't have to come to you. It's kind of like an IRA or 401k or a 1031, and that it's going to go into the next thing, right? So we have earnouts, for example. People come in and they'll say, like, I'm getting X amount up front, and then I'm working for X amount of years to earn out on even new amounts. But the amount that they would have gotten or received, or even those amounts that they receive, well, do you want to receive and pay the tax right away? And most people don't need the X amount of money right away. They like to defer it and live off the interest. But here's the cool thing. In the meantime, it can be redeployed into businesses or investments. And that's the part where we're trying to make this thing a household name, to understand the flexibility and the freedom of that. But that's another conversation. We're doing a lot of business here, Roger. Let's get back to the focus, right?
Okay.
So, second to last question. What's the number one leadership quote or theme that you strive to live by?
I don't know if I have a number one. I have a whole little book of Rogerisms, but I think that probably the thing that guides me most days is the understanding that people are not going to learn so much from what they hear me say. They're going to learn from watching what I do.
Love it. That's great. Lead. You said they can't push a rope, right? Get out in front and pull that thing, right? Come, go lead. I love that. Last question, Roger. After all your success, being a coach, real estate expert, helping people, best-selling author, what's the number one habit that you try to practice to help you stay centered in your values and stay encouraged to charge forward to reach new heights?
I think I would call it my quiet time, which involves more than you might think. There's definitely reading and study of scripture and prayer time, but also I read, I don't know the exact number, but I know I've read more than 150 books this year. I read a lot because I have no formal training in business and I have a lot to learn. I still have a lot to learn. And I have the attitude of one who has a lot to learn. And I read the Wall Street Journal every day. And all of this, my quiet time in the morning really takes over an hour because I'm doing a lot of reading. And lifelong learner, that's probably the biggest harbinger of my own success.
Love it. Hey, Roger, it's been more than a pleasure to spend some more time with you here, get to know you. I want to thank you for sharing your story. I want to encourage you to keep using that gift of being a visionary, right? Having a lot of ideas and taking action to go make them happen, and helping building people around you in a community and your team members and your coaches to make it happen for other people, make a big difference in everyone's lives. For people who want to get in touch with you, could you remind them one last time, what's the best place for them to find you?
The best way to do it is just go to flippingamerica.net and scroll to the bottom of the page. Of course, there's a toll-free number on the page. You can call anytime during East Coast business hours. And if I'm available, they'll find me and you may be able to get to talk to me. But if you'll scroll to the bottom of the page, there's a place to click a free strategy call. And so what I set up in advance of this interview today is for the next 2 months, I'm going to do all the strategy calls myself. So when you click on that strategy call, you won't be getting one of my coaches. You'll get me. All right.
Which is so generous, right? Because Roger has got a lot on his plate. So
no cost or obligation.
Do not forget that. No cost or obligation. He's as friendly as can be. If you're not seeing this on YouTube, go to our YouTube channel and check it out. If you're just listening to it, he is friendly, he is caring, he is kind. He is Roger Blankenship out of Atlanta, Georgia, flippingamerica.net. Thank you, Roger, for being on the show. I also want to thank our listeners for listening to another episode of the Capital Gains Tax Solutions podcast. As always, we believe most high net worth individuals and those who help them, they struggle with clarifying their capital gains tax deferral options. Not having a clear plan is the enemy, and using a proven tax deferral strategy, such as the Deferred Sales Trust, is one of the best ways, if not the best way, for you to exit highly appreciated short-term or long-term assets, right? You can go to capitalgainstaxsolutions.com to learn more about that. You can also check us out at Expert CRE Secrets as well. We're sharing some of the best commercial real estate investing secrets, such as people like Roger, who are doing amazing things and all kinds of other cool stuff. So check that out on YouTube and the podcast there as well. Hey, please do us a favor. Would you please rate, review, subscribe? You should probably click that little plus button wherever you're listening to this thing. Review this. 5 stars are always our favorite. This helps the algorithm increase its ratio of showing us at the top. We want to be at the top. We want to help more people, but we need you to help us to do that. So would you please do us a favor and take a few seconds to do that? We so appreciate that in advance. Thank you so much.